Have you ever wondered where and how seeds travel? Read along and track along with me. A curious thing is happening in my schoolyard this year. I cannot believe how many acorns there are under the oak trees. The ground is covered with them. The last few years, there weren't this many. In fact, I don't really even remember seeing these many acorns in a single year. What is going on? I checked all the oak trees in my schoolyard and near my house. I found the same thing. I knew I needed to find out more, so I walked to my friend's house. Again, I found an unbelievable number of acorns. Then I remembered that my uncle has a lot of trees near his house. He lives about 4 hours away from me, so we emailed each other. Here's his reply. Here are some pictures and photographs. Think about, do you have acorns outside of your house? Hi, it's great to hear from you. I've got to admit, I wasn't really paying attention to the acorns this year. The squirrels and blue jays are busy eating, burying, and collecting them, and there aren't many on the ground, so I'd say we have a normal number of acorns this year. But 3 years ago, my oak trees created an overwhelming number of acorns. This was true for all of the trees in my area of the state. Let me know what you figure out, my little nature detective. Love, Uncle Jim. Why are all the oak trees around here producing so many acorns? I asked my teacher, and she suggested I go to the library. The librarian was almost as excited as I was. She actually said to me, "The squirrels don't even know what to do with all the acorns in my yard this year." After a short search, we found a book about trees. We reviewed the index and went to a page about oak trees. This is what we found. Some oak trees produce acorns every other year instead of every year. Other oak trees produce very large crops of acorns every 4 to 10 years. These same trees produce smaller crops of acorns in other years. The book went on to say that in years when the trees produce smaller crops, the trees might have damage from insects or bad weather. In those years, the squirrels and other animals are able to eat most of the seeds. When the trees produce lots and lots of seeds, it is called a mast year. During a mast year, they all produce a greater number of seeds. This gives the oak trees a better chance to reproduce. During mast years, the animals that eat and store the seeds for winter can't collect all the seeds. They leave many seeds to grow into trees. Now that the acorn mystery is solved, I've started looking around a little more carefully at how many seeds plants create. Seeds are everywhere. The maple trees have seeds that twirl away from the adult plants. A strong breeze can send hundreds, maybe thousands of dry twirlers out away from the parent plant. Have you ever seen these floating in the sky? I know my mom and dad would often open them and put them on their nose for fun. A dandelion puffball has about 50 parachuting seeds. So these are like your wish dandelions. My brother and I once had a contest to see whose dandelion seeds stayed in the air longer. I won! One of mine traveled up into the air and out of our sight. My mom wasn't too happy with this game. She said, "Stop! You're blowing the seeds of weeds everywhere." I guess she didn't want weeds all over our yard. I think she forgot that the wind could do the same thing. That beautiful bird. The chain link fence at the far end of the schoolyard is covered in berries that birds love to eat. I've heard that birds will digest the fruit of the berry. Then the seed will pass in their droppings and might produce a new plant warm, if it lands on warm, moist soil. It's no wonder so many weeds grow in our schoolyard garden beds. Seeds have so many different ways to travel and so plentiful and are everywhere. That's what I've discovered about seeds in my schoolyard. What can you discover in yours?